right, we got Josh Sagman.
What's up?
We got Spencer Kash. What's up, buddy?
I don't know.
And we got the famous Grant Ganzi here today. Thank you for coming in, and all of you.
Thank you for having me. I don't know if I'd say famous, but I appreciate it.
So we're going to start with you, Spencer. What's your favorite food? What's your favorite fast food?
McDonald.
Well, that's why they're billionaire, the biggest fast food company, right, Josh?
Yes,
You're doing
sir.
no franchises.
That's true. McDonald's, as long as you don't own one in Russia, Spencer, we'll be all right.
Yeah, that might be a problem. Right? So you still got your brokerage going on,
Yeah.
right? With Transworld, ambassador for Tito's. And I still can't believe you opened up Palm Beach Lamborghini.
Yeah.
And you did the vendor at Mar-a-Lago.
Yep.
It's big stuff.
But, the good stuff is what we're here about today, charity, buddy.
Yeah, you're right. And Grant, Polo Player,
Yeah.
AllStar, big stuff. But for now, we have the white party coming up.
Yes.
So, Grant and Josh, tell everybody how that came about.
Yeah, I guess I can chime in here. So back in 2016, we a bunch of us got together. So Grant, myself, Nick, Roldan, Mark and Catherine Bellissimo, the Wanderers Country Club that we belong to, a charity called Brook USA, and we created this event. And for a couple years, and I'll try to stay politically correct with how I talk, it was an amazing event. We were all involved. We raised hundreds of thousands, I think over $1 million for charity. And like most charities, I'm not going to say they get greedy, but they feel like they can do it on their own, which is wonderful for them. So after 2018, we kind of all pulled away and didn't really do much anymore with the charity and, just kind of went about our thing. And then this year came around and it was great because Grant last year won the county for LLS, raising money for cancer charity. And Nick hadn't done this Sunset Polo since 2018 when was he involved, and Brook USA, which was our partner and started it with us, decided to do a green party. Still amazing, they're doing a green party for St. Patty's Day, and they're doing it at another club. So we said, why not get back involved? So we ended up getting together, Grant, myself, and Nick. We brought the old band back together with Natasha and, Mark and Melissa Ganzi, Grant's parents, and we just got a really good group together. And literally we sold out, I think, in 8 days from when we put it out there. Yeah, 8 days from when we put it out there. Yep. And it's going to be a 500-person party. A lot of VIPs, 5:30 it starts. It goes to around 7 with the polo match. As the sun comes down, we're transitioning it into an authentic Argentina asado.
Oh, wow, that would be cool.
And and then we've got a DJ followed up by, and we're not going to tell you, even though you're going to want to know, a special surprise performer. Uh-oh. So we've got somebody coming in who everyone will know, has been all over the news, all over everything. It's a pretty big thing. So we're not saying who it is.
Spencer, who is it? I'm just kidding. Don't tell.
And so it's exciting to be back. And as I said, once again, what's great about it is we got the band back together. And we're doing a white party with Polo and charity. And it's all benefiting Grant, who this year, he's just doing it AllStar. So we've got a couple of people that, I think everybody's been involved with cancer in some capacity. Oh. And, one of our big sponsors this year is Laura DeLuca Hirsch and Neil Hirsch, who was Players Club. Remember we spoke about Players Club, and Neil actually passed away.
Oh, I'm sorry.
He passed away in August. And, Grant and Neil used to do a lot of stuff together. And, Neil's widow basically has said, whatever I can do to help. And she's been really active she in fact imported a trophy. So at the end of the polo match, they get this beautiful sterling silver trophy, and she had it imported from England.
That's so cool
for the event. And it's gonna be great.
A lot of times with the charity events, how do you know? Like I know you are, like I know you, but how do you know that it's going to the right spot? Because a lot of times they have charity events, and whoever's running it takes 20% of it. Or they give 20% to the cause, and they pocket 80 and they're on a jet.
Well, for us, what's great about LLS is we don't touch any of the money. So everybody that bought a table, everybody that bought a ticket, it goes directly to LLS. And you're right. That's something that always comes into play. That was a lot of the problems we had with the previous group, because where was the money going? You know, is it going to serve animals, or is it going to pay for the executive director and other people? So we don't know.
Right.
And for us, I think the most important thing, and as Grant will tell you, is obviously raising money and doing a good thing. But most importantly, I only put my name on one event a year, you know, and when Grant and I went out to lunch, he was like, let's do this amazing event. And then we said, how can we make it amazing? And then we brought Nick in, you know, and Grant and Nick play all over the world in polo. So he'll tell you a little bit, like with Grant and Nick, they're like, you know, they played, as you say, you'll get into, I'm sure, you know, whether it was, you know, Prince Harry or whether it was in Aspen Polo or wherever it is, they do these huge things. And we all said, as three really good friends, let's raise money. You know, and that's what it's all about. And that's where Grant, you know, got on board. And then we got Nick. And, you know, once again, Nick kept these, you know, Sunset Polo matches going. And we did the two of them together. And then he did one over in England, actually, a third. And then this will be the fourth annual.
Victor, you know Victor Concepcion?
Yeah.
He
Victor
was talking
yeah,
about the
of course.
Sunset Polo because he does the breakfast over there, or he helps out with the breakfast or something.
Yeah, it's two different types of polo. So you've got International Polo Club, which is every Sunday, and I'll let Grant get into it. But Grant's family owns something called Grand Champions, and it's a 26 goal. It's the best polo players in the world. You know, they're just two totally different entities, I guess is the best way to put it.
Yeah, so it's two the highest levels played outside of Argentina, and we play the highest level polo outside of Argentina at Grand Champions, and they play a high level as well at International Polo Club Palm Beach, where Victor Concepcion works, and he's actually helped us promote a little bit of Sunset Polo, and you know, in turn, obviously, I'm gonna go support his Wings Wheels Fashion. So
That's cool.
yeah, he's a good guy, and you know, I got connected through him with a bunch of mutual friends. He actually was running for AllStar the year that I ran for Man of the Year in 2020 during COVID and everything. So it was pretty crazy. And that's how I first really met him. And then, you know, through Josh, I kind of started seeing him more, and then I kind of had more mutual connections with Victor, and, you know, he's been great. So.
Now, when you take polo in other countries or areas, and then you compare it to, say, here in Florida,
Right.
Is there a massive difference in the way they play, the competition, or... This podcast is brought to you by Monster Energy. Tear into a can of the meanest energy drink on the planet, Monster Energy. It's the ideal combo of the right ingredients in the right proportion to deliver a big bad buzz that only Monster can. Monster packs a powerful punch, has a smooth, easy drinking flavor. Athletes, musicians, co-eds, road warriors, metalheads, geeks, hipsters, and bikers dig it. You will too. Monster Energy is more than just the green OG. Monster has Monster Ultra, Juice Monster, Monster Hydro, Rehab Monster, Dragon Tea, Monster Max, Muscle Monster, and many more. Buy on Amazon, buy on Walmart, or go to monsterenergy.com, and believe me, you'll find a place. Unleash the beast. Monster Energy.
So yeah, in Argentina they play the highest level in the world, which is 40 goal. So basically, the highest handicap that an individual player can be is 10 goals. And Nick is 8 and I'm 3, for example. So having all 10 goalers on the field, the best of the best, playing is like the highest level. It's like playing the NFL or, you know, PGA, you know, the Masters.
It's at the top.
That's
the top, and you better be good, or you have no shot.
No, you can't make it unless you're a 6-goal rated player. So you have to be there's a minimum requirement to be able to even try to qualify for that level.
6 goal. Whoa.
Yeah, individual ranking. So obviously, it's tough to be able to play at the top level. So, and Nick's done it before.
And then what made you want to get into the charity and this event here with Josh?
So LLS approached me about running for AllStar in November, and I told them the only way I would sign on if I could do a charity polo match. And having in mind, you know, what I wanted to do, I approached Josh for some help. I said, hey, look, I know, you know, in the past we did the Sunset Polo and White Party in the past. I said, do you want to help out, and what should we do? And he goes, it'd only be fitting if we got Nick involved. And I said, I agree. And so we approached Nick, and he was, you know, all in from the first second, and then it just kind of came together, and we've been working hard, weekly meetings ever since.
It's so good to see a kid your age grounded and doing this already, because this generation, like your generation and then the generation coming up after you, I don't know.
It-
I mean, so it's impressive to see this.
Look, he might be the nicest, most humble, just good guy. As I mentioned, Neil Hirsch. I mean, Neil Hirsch was one of the most successful businessmen in Wellington. And I just remember whenever Grant would be brought up, Neil was like, he's the best, whatever I can do, whatever I can do. And yeah, but absolutely, you very grounded, definitely not what people think about millennials, you know.
Yeah.
He was just in school, correct, at your
Yeah, I
class?
came
and
straight from class. So yeah, I came straight
rushed
from
here to
class.
be here by 6 so we
Yeah.
could put this on. But
and then here he is, man of the year. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
I probably wouldn't have went to school after that. You know.
and he's humble, but he did raise over $100,000 for his campaign.
Congratulations,
Straight.
man.
Oh, yeah,
and
thank you, guys.
congratulations on the man of the year, man. Very impressive, very impressive. And just the fact that, you know, you stick to it, and you seem very open-minded. And yeah, I saw that with Nick as well. And if you're not open-minded, how can you learn, right? How can you get better?
Of course. No, you got to keep an open perspective with everything in life, especially with, you know, certain opportunities that are presented to you. Like when they approached me to do the Man of the Year campaign, sure, I could have said no, right? I was a busy guy. I had school, I had polo, and they approached me in January. So I was just getting ramped up in the middle of the season, and it was late because someone had dropped out in 2020. So
So it was like almost a last-minute thing on top of everything
yeah, it
else,
was
right?
last minute. The campaign would start in March, and I'd
Good
have
for
1
you.
month to get everything going. And you know, obviously, it was a lot. But I said, you know what, I should, you know, I thought it was not only the right thing to do, but it was something that I said, you know what, I'm gonna regret not doing this.
Yeah, and kind of a way to give back too, right?
No,
You know?
of course. So you know, I've been lucky that I've been able to, I guess, see other people give back in my life. Neil was one of those people, and I was able to help with his, you know, Boys and Girls Club events. I did a fundraiser that fall of 2019 for the hurricane that hit the Bahamas.
Oh, awesome, man.
Yeah,
awesome.
so we raised like I think just 25 grand, but it still was a
Still
huge help.
25
Yeah, it was
grand.
amazing. So
I mean, anything's good. I mean,
yeah,
and
anything.
it's just the fact that you know, Grant, you're a young kid doing this. You know, you just don't see it anymore. You know, I'm so impressed with it. Now, you're from Pennsylvania too.
So I was born outside of Philadelphia.
Now, how were you born in Philadelphia and you become this unbelievable person with polo? I mean, when I was in Philly, polo, I thought we were going shopping for polo shirts, you know?
And you wouldn't be wrong.
Yeah, no, not that I had, you know, didn't like it or nothing against it. It's just,
Right,
you know,
no.
up there, it's a different world.
No, for sure. In the Northeast, it's cold. You know, they play a lot of arena polo actually in the Northeast, and there's a great program outside of Philadelphia called Work to Ride, and a few of my friends actually played there. A guy named Kareem Rosser, and they actually did a deal with Polo Ralph Lauren, so they did a whole photo shoot stuff, and they gave money to the program. So basically, what they would do is they give these kids opportunities to go work in like muck stalls and feed horses and take care of the horses, and in return they get to play polo.
Oh, cool.
So it would keep them, in essence, off the streets or off of, you know, being in a gang or drug dealing or just not in school. Because if you didn't have grades, you couldn't play. If you didn't take care of the horses, you couldn't play. So it required a lot of time. And a lot of these kids, it gave them a better life.
Oh, yeah, it kept them off the street, kept them away from
Right.
drugs.
But it gave them, I mean, a lot of these kids, Kareem went to Cornell.
Wow, really?
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then, or CSU, sorry, he went to CSU. And then they had another lady, Shariah, went to Cornell. And then his brother ended up going to like Roger Wells. So.
Oh, those are big schools.
Right, so they went to good schools.
Yeah.
You know, they kept their grades up in high school. They did really well in high school. I think it was a requirement. They had to have certain grades so they couldn't play. So, I mean, there's
They
things
got
like
the
that.
job done, right?
Exactly. So it helps. You know, that's an example of how, you know, doing something as simple as taking care of a horse can change someone's life.
And then what was it that made the game of polo a love of yours?
So my parents both play, and my sister plays. So, I mean, honestly, as a young kid, I didn't really care about it, to be honest. I'd watch it. I loved watching it. But playing, I'd play kids tournaments with my buddies. But, I mean, I didn't really get involved until I was about 13 when I started actually trying to ride and practice and get better. Because for me, what happened was I saw all my friends get way better than I was because I wasn't putting in any effort.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, this is kind of annoying. Like, I want to play with my friends. I wasn't playing with my friends anymore because I wasn't improving that much. And so when I tried to get better and better and better, and then I started committing myself more, and I had opportunities to play in Florida that upcoming season when I was like 14. That obviously not a lot of kids that my age would get those opportunities that often. and I kind of took the opportunities and ran with it. And I've never looked back. I started playing all year.
So you were pretty much born into it and almost had the DNA genetics coming into this world, being that your family was in it and then you got into it. How much endurance training do you have to go through? Because, I used to watch a lot of horse racing. I know a lot of jockeys. And originally, me being a moron, I thought that, they just jump on a horse, they figure out how to hold it. But then when I got to know a couple of them, these guys are running. They're really in shape.
Dude, I rode a horse one time, probably a year ago, and I
sore
was in
for a
bed for
month.
like 3 days afterwards. I was like, how hard is this? I'm on a horse. I was with all our friends playing polo, and I ran a couple of times up and down. I was like, wait, something's not right now.
Knock your back out.
Oh my God.
He does it one time. He's in the chiropractor. He's got 17 doctor appointments, right?
It's just you don't use those muscles like if you're not on a horse. It sounds weird, but there's certain muscles, like a muscle that I actually pulled. I haven't played in like a month because I pulled my groin, which normally no one would do, right? How would you do that? Well, I did it playing. So I've been kind of just resting, recovering, and taking my time because it's been a process.
Do you have a strict diet?
I try to. My girlfriend's vegan, so I've been trying to limit the meat
Merge
a little bit.
Yeah.
Yeah, I just try not to eat meat every day.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like every meal. So I'm more conscious about it.
Well, my mother had gotten colon cancer. It was stage 5. 2001 she had gotten it. And when she went to the right doctors, they had said that they felt that it was caused from eating too much red meat. And it was stage 5. So maybe it's a good thing.
Yeah. So that's so my one of my good friends' dads, he had colon cancer as well, and they said it was from too much meat and too much Coca-Cola.
Coca-Cola, huh?
Yeah, he cut that from his diet, and then he obviously doesn't eat as much red meat as he used to.
Yeah.
Well, thing is, he used to get home from riding and he'd drink a Coca-Cola bottle, like 2 liters.
Yeah. Oh, 2 liter.
2 liter Coke, yeah.
He wasn't just having a can a day, right?
No, it was a 2 liter Coke
With
on
a side
ice.
of kidney stones.
So obviously that can't be good for you.
So everyone should limit themselves to 1 plate at the asado of the red meat, right?
Exactly.
4 glasses of Tito's, and you're good.
Yeah. Low cal.
Yeah.
So now you played with Prince Harry?
Yeah, that's right. So this last summer, I got the opportunity to play with Prince Harry and my sister and Nacho Figueras.
Oh, congratulations.
Yeah, so it was good fun, and he came out to Aspen, and we raised a good amount of money for his charity, Santa Bale. So happy to help out.
Now, how did the pandemic affect your firm? Like the brokerage, the mergers, the franchising? I would assume that the franchises kind of died out.
Honestly, just like the real estate market, we're on fire. I've done 6 deals since the beginning of the year, and we're March?
Yeah.
Like right now, everyone wants to be in Florida. So with my business, with my day, I always say my day job, and then stuff like this where we have fun is my night. Like it's been great. Just because when people want to be here, they'll go out of their way to figure out a way to come here. In fact, I have a great story with a buyer from Russia.
Oh, boy. Go ahead.
3 weeks ago.
Yeah.
Cell phone company. Great company. they do their reseller of mobile phones. Everything from Sixt, the car company, he'll buy 1,000 phones from them for $20, refurbish them and sell them for $20. He'll buy them for $20.
Like the rental car place?
Like the rental car,
Yeah,
they're corporate. Might have
corporate.
20 iPhone 9s, let's say, or 10s, and they're obsolete. Well, he'll buy them for 20 and then refurbish them and sell them for 40 or 50.
Interesting.
And a really nice kid out of Russia. Young, another, 24, 25, looking for a business for his visa. He has to do it through Malta, another country. Long story short, we got the deal done. And 3 weeks ago, he had to go back to get his money out of Russia.
How'd that go?
And he was right on the border. He was right on the border of Ukraine and Russia. And we didn't think it was going to happen. And he basically, he got his money out through Dubai. We closed on the business, and then he got held up for 3 days. Now, he's currently out of the country, but he was they were putting in a moratorium. Anybody between the ages of 18 and 60, I think, they weren't going to let leave Russia.
Oof.
They were going to say they had to join the military. So to answer your question, it's been good. For me, with what I do, as we said last time, everybody knows somebody that sells residential real estate. Everybody will know a commercial guy. People don't know who to go to for their businesses. The Main Street. Like, I do M&A, but my sweet spots will say $250,000 to $3 million.
Yeah, you're on the high end,
So-
or the higher end
Of
scale.
Main Street, yeah. So that stuff is what. But yeah, it's been a nice little run, right, Spencer? Do you sell businesses? Yeah. No? You don't know? All right. So I apologize. We just got back from Amelia Island. We went up to see my father for the weekend, so he looks a little tired.
Did you have fun?
Yeah.
You had a
What do
good time, buddy?
for spring break? Yeah. What do you want to do for spring break? You don't know? Rapids?
McDonald's?
McDonald's? Rapids and McDonald's. Perfect.
Rapids and McDonald's. You're sold, right, Spence? He's done. Now, I want to ask this.
Yeah.
So a lot of these mergers, like, you had eBay and PayPal, then they were together, then they got hit with the monopoly, so then they merged or acquisitions or whatever. So now when these companies do this, and the pharmaceutical companies and the others, like when they make a generic, but Pfizer still owns the generic of the company, how do they get away with that?
That's a good question. When you're on that level, when you're up there, it's a lot of it. A lot of it goes to lobbyists.
Yeah, is that what it does?
I mean, a lot of it's lobbyists in Washington D.C. These lobbyists get paid a lot of money because the pharmaceutical companies will know that they've got to get approval. It's got to get through this. It's got to get through that. So that's a whole nother element. But yeah, I mean, it'll be interesting to see as time goes on what they allow to happen, what they don't. A lot of it, and I know we're not going to get political, but a lot of it is, libs know. When it's libs, when it's right, they know when they can, who's going to pass and who's going to be in government and how many votes they need. And
of course, they got it all out like a strategical time book, right?
So that's on that level. As I said, it's an interesting time in business brokerage right now, especially because. You just don't know what's going to happen. I mean, gas prices, between everything that's going on over in Europe. I mean, are we going into World War III? The market is so volatile. It's like, one day it's up, one day it's down. It's going to be it's an interesting time period. That's for sure.
So we both know that the real estate market is going to boom it's got to pop at some time, right? It has to. I mean, it can't. I mean, my house is $300,000 more than I paid for. My house is not worth $300,000 more than I paid for. Yours is probably worth $10 million more. This guy over here.
No, but COVID. What COVID did too, in my industry, and I can just speak about my industry, is, a lot of people were laid off. A lot of people got to a point where they're like, okay, my business isn't what it used to be, so I'm going to work for myself. So I'm up in New York, and I say to myself, all right, you know what? What am I doing? And I heard as we said last time, you're a big fan of de Blasio. I know he's not around anymore in New York City. But,
huge.
No, I'm joking.
I'm his number one fan. Him and a couple other ones.
But so what I found was I think a lot of people were just sick of up north. And I'll tell you, a lot of my buyers right now are that New York, Philly, DC. They're against the liberal policies.
Just too much.
And they can come down to Florida. They can buy a business. You know what I mean? It's like they can work for themselves. And that's where it fell. But the big ones are interesting because it goes back and forth. As I said, it's so political with the lobbyists and what they do. Like, as you said, with Pfizer and generic, and you can pay $800 for it's crazy.
Yeah, because like with Pfizer, they came out, Viagra turned into generic, but it's just an umbrella company of Pfizer. So the generic is say 33, the brand name is 53. It's still Pfizer. It's just I put it under your name, and it's now Josh, right? Like you're the generic company that's making it, but Pfizer, you're just the umbrella of Pfizer. Yeah. That's why I was asking.
No, 100%.
I know you do all these mergers.
Look, for me with the white party, I'll order 20 pills for $20 from Canada.
Yeah,
and then we're all good.
Right. Or you could go to Roman and have it delivered right to your door. Right? So. Now you're in business too, right?
So yeah, I'm actually about to graduate from Lynn University here in Boca, and I got 2 months left.
And you can speak what, 2 languages?
2 languages, that's right. I took a little Italian in high school, but it's kind of rubbed off at this point. I mean, I don't get to use it that often, unfortunately.
What are the 2 that you're good at?
So I speak English and Spanish fluently.
You can't beat that. That's the 2 that you need.
Spanish is huge.
Yeah. I mean, that just sets you
The Spanish because of polo. So I grew up speaking it in the house, and I use it almost every day. Well, I do use it every day. So that's how I was able to keep maintaining it, I think. To be honest with you, if I hadn't spoken it every day growing up, I probably would have lost it.
Is that what you did? You just did repetition?
Yeah, because a lot of most of the polo players are Argentine. So on the field, you use Spanish. The grooms that take care of the horses are also Argentine. So with them, you use Spanish.
I didn't even know that. I had a lady that moved next to me, and she was Argentine or whatever, and I didn't even know they speak Spanish. I didn't know.
Yeah.
I thought they spoke like UK people. You know, I like both of them. I'm just saying, it was kind of interesting. And I heard her going blah 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 one day. I said, I thought you were Argentinian. She goes, yeah, we speak Spanish. I'm like, oh, okay, I'm going to go back in the house.
Look, you're Italian, but you could pass for Spanish.
Yeah.
Right
yeah,
there,
yeah,
like,
yeah.
definitely.
But I have trouble speaking Italian. I can understand it,
Me too.
but speaking it, because
tough.
there's so many different slangs, right?
Yes,
Like,
yes.
Spanish seems to,
You're right.
I took Spanish courses, believe it
No,
or
you're
not.
right. I agree with you. Traveling in Italy, I learned that the hard way.
Because there's so many levels of slang.
Well, the weird thing is, I was in Naples, Italy, a few years ago, and we had a guide and a bus driver. Right? We were in a private tour with the guide and the bus driver, and the guide was like, "Okay, we're gonna speak, standard classic Italian." He spoke. I'm like, "Oh yeah, I got all of that." He's like, "Do you get that?" I said, "Yeah, I got that." Now we're gonna speak in the Napoleon dialect. I said, "Okay, go for it." Didn't understand a word. Then I was like, "Whoa, okay."
When they
So-
start, right?
Yeah.
Right, Grant? When they
It's
start,
it's
Josh, when
crazy.
they start messing over there with the O's and the A's, and then, as you go down, it becomes U and O, and then it starts to get crazy. Where what
yeah,
you
but
just
then they
learned,
speak fast too.
Yeah,
I mean,
oh,
if
yeah.
they go speaking fast and they speak in a different dialect, you won't get any word. You won't understand a thing.
So within polo, what else? What's your goals with business? So you have your polo,
Right.
We know that.
Right.
So when you graduate, and what's your goals with business wise?
So I'm actually applying for to get my master's degree. So my MBA in sports management.
Oh, cool.
And I'm either going to do that at Lynn or UM. And I just figured, why not get more of an MBA? Because even speaking to my dad last night, it was amazing how we were having just conversations at the dinner table. We went to dinner, Wellington and Maxwell's Plum. And just everything was like, oh, did you get your MBA? Like he was speaking to someone else at the table, and it immediately went to an MBA. And what I've noticed just when passively looking for jobs is that MBA is like a requirement almost. If you want to get a good job in business these days, like entry level, you got to have an MBA or have a bunch of prior work experience, which you can if you're coming out of school.
Right.
You can do internships, like I did 2 of them, but man, I mean, they're looking for years of prior experience, which you can't have, like 3 years of prior experience. How are you going to do that if you're coming out of college? So it's tough. So getting an MBA is kind of like a way of showing that you went and did the effort and got a good degree, and also that you have somewhat of an experience of having prior internships and other things on your resume.
And then you don't have to hear about MBA anymore, right?
Exactly.
Once you get it, you never have to hear that word again.
Yeah, you get your foot in the door, and that's that.
Well,
But, yeah.
you're doing big things. I mean, we went through your Instagram. I mean, scroll down through this stuff, Rob. I mean, he's got trophy. How many trophies you got around?
So a lot. Not all of them are the big ones, but they all count the same.
Trophy's a trophy, right?
That's actually with Nick right there. So Nick's in the middle. I'm on
Yeah.
the end, and that was cool. That was for the U.S.
That's awesome.
That's a 22 goal we played November.
That's great.
That's so cool.
That was fun. Yeah, that's actually in Switzerland. That's in Saint Moritz, Switzerland.
How'd you like Switzerland?
I liked it.
Did you? I had a friend that went over there. He said it's unbelievable.
It's beautiful.
Beautiful. Yeah.
It's beautiful. Yeah, the food's really good. That's actually with Nick again. He played with my dad over there. We played against him the last day, which was fun. And I actually got to play there with my mom, which is pretty cool.
I didn't realize they played in the snow. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's on the snow. It's 4-on-4. It's a big field. It's like almost 300 yards long. It's an unbelievable event
That's
they do in
cool.
Switzerland.
Now, Grant, is it funner to play in the snow? I mean, I know it's cold, so that isn't cool, I guess, but it's got to be fun to play in the snow, right?
It's fun, man. It's
I
fun.
would think
It's
so.
different because I mean, if you saw the ball is like an inflatable like light ball, whereas in the polo ball on the grass is a hard like baseball almost without the laces. That's what it is. It's a hard plastic ball.
Now, how do you adjust to that then, though? Because you're using a totally different, weight, size. That's got to be tough.
It is. It's a little weird. I think it's easier to go from the smaller plastic ball on the grass and then go to the bigger ball in the snow than it is to go from the snow to the grass.
Yeah.
because when you're hitting a tiny little ball and then you hit a giant one, like, oh man, it looks huge.
What about the
right?
horses? What's the difference between the horses and the snow versus?
Well, in
good-
Switzerland, it's a good question. In Switzerland, we rented horses,
Mhm.
so weren't our own, and they actually in the snow they have to put these screws on. They're like studs, which we don't use in the grass, so the horses don't slip. But they're put on and then taken off as soon as they leave the field, because if they kick another horse with that, they can cut them. Because we always use metal shoes with the horses, but just not the metal, those extra studs in the snow. But they handle pretty well in the snow. I mean, maybe they don't shave them like we do normally in the grass. Like we shave their manes and everything. But in the snow, we probably let their hair grow a little bit more, so they're not as cold.
That is so cool. I never saw that. I think playing in the snow would be cool. Even super cool to watch.
Yeah,
too.
it's amazing. So
Yeah.
we actually do it in Aspen, and we
Yeah.
did it in December. We do it right before the weekend before Christmas usually. Depends how the dates fall, but that's usually the goal.
You did real well in Aspen, huh?
Yeah, no, it's amazing. It's a great event that my mom's been putting on for the last like 6 years, and I'm just lucky we were able to go out and do that. And
You seem to crush whenever you're there. I mean, now when you're doing all this and you're training, you're eating, you're getting everything right and ready.
Yeah.
How much preparation is it before a big match in general?
A lot. Some people even look into what they eat the night before they play. So let's say you got a game the next day at 10 a.m. I'm for me personally, I'm waking up at least 2 hours before, because I'm showing up to the field an hour before. Me personally, I don't eat the morning before I play. I don't eat like right before I play a game. But I think it depends. It's interesting. Everyone has their own little routine they'll do when they get to the field. Generally, people the time you arrive to the field is usually the same for everyone. But a lot of people either they'll do like a light training session before. I don't do that. I'll always go and I'll make my horse list, so the order of what horses I'm going to play in the game, and then I'll go get on the horse physically and go warm up and stick and ball and hit the ball around and practice all the shots I'm going to do in the game. And then I'll go to the tent for like 10 minutes. I'll just sit there basically in silence and just focus.
I would approach it just like you. I wouldn't eat before that because I think I would get cramps probably.
Oh, I get like
I'd probably pull an all-nighter.
Yeah, you would. Yeah, you would.
Yeah,
You
there's
pull
other
an
ways
all-nighter.
to do it.
I'd pull an all-nighter and probably play better.
Win. Somehow win.
I'm not gonna go in the air and say I've never played hungover, but
But hypothetically,
one could do that.
you didn't hear that. Just kidding.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, it depends how you want to do it. But a big game, I'm not. I'm gonna be a good boy, have a good, nice meal, and get to bed early, and maybe even watch some tape in bed before I go to bed.
I was like you when I used to box. I have a couple Golden Gloves, and a lot of guys would eat the night before or the morning, or if we were fighting for the Golden Gloves at say 3 p.m., they would eat at like 12. I wouldn't eat. I would eat a good big meal before I went to bed. But if we were fighting at 3, which you never fight at 3 because it depends on who's before you.
Right.
When that would happen, I wouldn't eat because I would get cramps. It would cramp me up and it would slow me down and everything else. So I would do the same thing. I would want to be by myself. Don't bother me. Don't ask me questions. Let me get my head together and get ready.
Exactly.
But like you said, everybody's different.
Mhm.
Not everybody can do all-nighters and come play polo. And then arrange white parties, whatever the hell else.
Exactly.
That'd be awful.
Well, what's great, I mean, look, the reason I think this party's as successful as it is because of a team. And I say that all the time. Like, we really did, and we're blessed because, as Grant said and I said, how it kind of all came together, and and it just, we delegate. You know what I mean? Like, we bring everybody, knew it was for a great cause. As I said, we're not making a penny. None of us are making any money on this. It's all about blood cancer, and everybody can relate to cancer, and everyone is, as Grant was saying, Nick, Natasha, myself, and Grant are kind of at the forefront of it. But then, Jenny, Oslo Roy, and Amir with Maxwell Plums. Maxwell's the new hot lounge restaurant out in Wellington. They got involved. They're going to do all the bartenders. They're going to do the official after party. Victor's helping with a lot of promotions and different things along that lines. Trainer Mike has a gym out there, and Trainer Mike's amazing. And Trainer Mike brought us the surprise performer. Trainer Mike brought us also security, which security is another thing that is close to home because there was a gentleman who passed away, and he owned a thing called Shadow Group.
Sorry to hear that.
No, So I'm sure you guys all know Fritz, big Fritz, and he, he was actually Jake Paul's personal security guard.
Oh wow!
So when Jake Paul was fighting, he would always mention him, and his wife is a good friend of ours, and she's doing all the security for the event.
Oh, that's cool.
So, we're bringing her group in to do all the security for it. And, I just can't, I'll mention it again, but, Neil Hirsch's widow, Laura DeLuca, has been amazing. I mean, she got right on board. She sponsored the staging and gave as much money she could. And one of Neil's other good friends actually has blood cancer right now. So she's asking how much she can get involved. And it's just, it all kind of comes together. And then, of course, we have to mention, Grant's parents. Grant's parents are the best, and they kind of, here's the venue. We're going to take care of the asada. We're going to do a lot of things to make sure that this event is top notch. So it really is just about good people coming together for a good cause. So.
And it's so cool to see that good people that are well off, that don't need to do it. Like, you don't need to do this. You don't need to do this, So it means more when it's done like this, and then you get the right people together and you sell out in 8 days is what happens, right? If not 7.
Man. Yeah. And it just happened too, because for a while, like we'd all joke about it. We'd have one of the weekly meetings, like, man, we're not even promoting this yet. Wait till you promote it.
And then it went live, and it's like, we sold 100 tickets in 3 hours.
Right.
All right. Tables, we're only having 10, and somehow there's 12 of them already sold.
Yeah.
So how many people can you hold that?
I mean, look, you could do thousands, but for us, because it's our first year back, none of us we haven't done it here in 3 years. We wanted to limit it, so it's limited to 500 people. Basically, we did a 300 VIPs. We did another, I think, 50 general admission, and then we did 10 tables at like 100. And then if it's all right with everybody, we're going to comp some of these girls to come to the event.
Yeah. Where did you get the name Baybes?
No, that was as I was telling people that we're getting to.
This has to be a Sagman thing. No. How'd you get the name?
It's not me. So Grant? Natalia, I will give Natalia a shout out.
It's all Josh.
Grant pleads the fifth.
Look, we'll bring him. How about we bring him in here for the next? So Spencer, are you picking your next soon to be stepmom? No, I'm joking. No, so how the Baybes got involved was Natalia has been a friend of mine for years. When I owned the nightclub in town, she was one of the waitresses, head waitress, and as she evolved, she said, you know what, there's a need for beautiful women who can work events. And she's grown to where she does the biggest events in South Florida. She hires models, and they come in and, once again, they'll either bartend or they'll waitress or they'll VIP host. And that was one of those ones we sat around a table and said, hey, what about hiring Baybes? And there wasn't too many people that said that fought us on it. So, so we've got a little bit of a sex appeal for the event. And every VIP table will have one Baybe who will be kind of their personal waitress.
Baybes, right?
Baybes. Well, Baybes. Baybes. But a little shout out for my good friend Natalia.
I don't know how to pronounce that the way you said it, but okay.
You can pull up her Instagram if you want, and Baybes, Baybes is the
which one, Spencer?
Is the
website. Oh, good, he took it off. You shouldn't be looking at that yet either.
Yeah.
Daddy's gonna get killed. If I don't see you, I know why.
Oh, it's all good. I'll just send my law bill when my wife takes me back to court. No, I'm joking.
I was going to say, you want me to cut this?
No, I'm good. I'm divorced. It's official.
Right?
Yeah, that's it. No, that's I think different. Instagram Bayb. Yeah.
So go up to there you go. But that's just an interesting name.
Yeah. No, they're and we're watching Baybes.
Is that it? Yeah.
Yes, that's it right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. So as I said, as you can see, it's classy. It's not like,
it's not like raunchy.
Yeah, it's not like Hooters. It's
you got your Tito's over there, huh?
Yeah. Well, they do like Tortuga Festival and
okay.
And everybody else. And a lot of high end. Yeah, they do all of Tortuga. Okay. They do a lot of golf events. I mean, they're flown all over. As I said, it's a classy. Yeah.
Oh wow! I get that. So this is actually like almost a company in a way, like you're a
full-fledged company.
Wow. Okay. I thought you had just people that you had known from events and everything else. So this is actually a thing that they do.
It's a brilliant idea. She, she basically takes girls and says, look, we're going to pay a lot of money to come in and host and do different things for events.
What an idea!
All top notch, classy.
That's a good move,
right?
Smart.
And then go to the other slide, because we have 2 slides of the Baybes or
Baybes?
Whatever they are.
It's
whatever
all good.
Josh wants them to be,
Yeah,
or
it's all
Spencer
good.
wants them to be.
So
Whatever you want them to be, buddy.
That was probably a car. I mean, definitely a car show, but I don't know if it was Barrett Jackson or one of the big events. But as I said, they do major, events. It's
That looks like Barrett Jackson, right?
yeah, it probably is, or it might be the car show downtown. Floyd, a good friend of mine, Floyd, does a big car show on Las Olas, Cars on Las Olas or Las Olas car show. So,
What's your favorite car, Grant?
Ooh, that's a good question.
When you get absolutely gigantic, what car are you gonna get? And you can get anything you want.
It's a tough one. I
The
got
fun car.
I gotta
What
go
the fun car?
Lamborghini.
Yep.
I gotta go Lamborghini
Yep.
Aventador. Just classic.
Yep.
I always,
love 'em.
always, for whatever reason, Lamborghini. Always for me.
I was so mad they stopped making the Gallardo. I had a Gallardo Spider, best car I ever had.
They look
The regular
yeah.
Gallardo, I hate. It was too loud. I didn't like it. But then when they came out with the Spider, I loved it. And then they stopped making it. Huracan doesn't live up to it.
I like the Murcielago too.
Yeah,
That's a good one too.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah. The one car I don't like, you did something with them, I think. The McLaren.
no, the Aventador we launched.
Didn't
That's
you do
why when you
something
guys
with
were
McLaren
there,
at one time?
no, we launched the
No, I know,
Aventador
yeah.
at Mar-a-Lago.
Yeah, you're
So that was
talking
our
about
big.
the most expensive Lamborghini you can freaking buy. Some of us might want to buy something else if we got a couple million laying around.
No,
right there after the tax,
um,
you're at 600 if you want the turbo, 650 with the turbo.
Crazy, right? How expensive these guys, especially nowadays. You can't get any car. I mean, it's amazing. If you go to all these exotic car lots or everywhere, it's like
They're either a wazillion dollars or they don't have them. Same with watches.
Mm-hmm.
Like Rolexes, they were through the moon.
yeah, it's crazy with watches right now. With every, I mean, it's all the it's going in that direction. And inflation, I'm not going to go there, but right, that's going to be an interesting. That's an interesting subject right now.
Okay, and like, because I know this is your thing. So in a short, to sum it up, because we can do one on inflation another time, but to sum it up, how do we get out of this debt as the inflation rises and rises and rises? I mean, I guess we don't anytime soon. But
I mean, I think it's policies. I mean, I think right now we've got our president has to step up in some capacity. I mean, without getting into politics, I think it all falls on. What is it, 52, 51? What's his...
right now?
What number? Whatever our president. So I'll leave it at that because, as I said, if you get into politics, as we know, half the room's going to love you, half the room's going to hate you. So I'll just stay right in the middle and say that I'm not a big fan.
so I'll word the question.
Yes.
Okay. So with the inflation situation, how do we fix it?
Ooh. Let me think about that for a second. I mean, I think
Well, you made the $1 million club in a year out of nowhere.
Yeah, but once again, inflation right now is happening across
the board.
Yeah, with everything. So how are we all going to step in and deal with it? And I really don't have the answer to that.
Grant, I never thought I'd hear this guy say I don't have an answer to anything, even if it was like
because I don't want to look. I like to be I like to be straightforward, and I really don't have an answer to inflation. I mean, I think we're in big trouble.
That's scary if this guy don't got an answer.
What's your? Well, I'll ask you, Grant. What do you think?
Yeah, what do you think?
What do I think?
Yeah,
look, I'm a big believer in cryptocurrency, so I think that's the future in a way because inflation, the way I saw it is I had some money, in a bank account, savings, whatever. And I'm happy that I put it into other stuff because I just felt like my dollar was going to devalue because the interest rates where they're at in banks and how much money was inflating, you'd be losing money just keeping money in a bank, right? Mm-hmm. So I think obviously the Fed's going to raise interest rates, but I think that the fact that they delayed raising the interest rates for a long time did make inflation worse. And the market's kind of reflecting that as well. I mean, the market was way overvalued in the first place, but I mean, it's tough to see just...
Now it's just like...
Well, my concern with crypto is at one point are they going to start regulating? Because there's got to be some regulation.
Biden just released it.
So...
Yeah. He just announced himself.
And what did he say? Well, I don't even know.
Well, he is an advocate for it, surprisingly.
All right.
See, I'm not surprised.
I mean, I was pretty surprised because usually guys that are old like Biden... Just saying.
But but Grant,
they don't support it.
You take Bitcoin and you realize that Putin has a big part of Bitcoin And then
And
Biden goes, and I'm not trying to be political because I'm not right, I'm not left. I just want what's best. When you realize that Putin has a big part of Bitcoin, he can fluctuate that, okay? And then Biden's in a $16 million house. You only make $400K as president. You know what I mean?
Yeah, where's the
The
math?
son's got $6 million laying around for doing I don't know what.
Paintings.
Paintings, right? NFTs or whatever the new, or WW2, or not World War. I mean, like Web 2, Web 3, Web 7, whatever
Yeah,
it is.
Web3. Yep.
I don't know. When you have Putin and Biden involved with Bitcoin and you know that they are, it scares the heck out of me. I know that. I'm scared to death of it. The crypto itself, you know, the guy, the son something was the guy who came up with the crypto. It was never meant to be like this. It was meant to be more of what was it meant to be originally, Josh? I think you were the one
look,
who
I
scoped
tried to
it.
sell. I had a Bitcoin mine for sale 6 years ago, and the problem was back then, and I haven't been following it that much recently, but the electric bill. It was like $4,000 a month.
Ew.
For their electric, but they could make something like a Bitcoin a day. So looking back on it, you know, they were selling it like 6,000.
Yeah.
And he was like, and he couldn't make it work, and it was right up here in Port St. Lucie. And looking back on it, so I don't know. As I said, I dibble dabble with crypto. Like I'll say, all right, when Bitcoin goes below 30,000, I'll put more in. You know what I mean? Because it's always like this. And
Yeah.
But other than that, it's an interesting. I mean, people were saying it was going to go to 100,000, right? And it probably still will at some point.
Right.
But when is that? You know, and also, is it better to invest in crypto or the market? You know, because we all know over the last 50 years or whatever it is, the market extremely goes higher. And I mean, I know I said this last time, but my big thing was always, my father at 21 was like, look, every time you do something, take 10% and give it to your money manager. You know, I know what I know what I don't know.
Yeah.
So if I did an event and I made 1,000, or I sold a business and I made 100,000, you know, 10% goes to the money man. Edelman, who's a Maryland firm that does very well, and then you just don't touch it. And they play the market, let them do. You know, I do think it's a good thing to diversify into some crypto. You know what I did? I said take 20% of whatever the portfolio is and put it in crypto, because I don't think it's going to go that low. Because I think there'll always be governments and different people that you know that'll need a different form of currency.
Yeah, I think it's an okay investment if you have it. You know, if you have 20 laying around, and you know whether you have that 20 or don't have that 20, it's not going to affect the way you live. All right, why not take a shot? Keep an eye on it. If you see a dip, run.
But
Sell
what's
and
the
run.
number? The question is with crypto, like, how do you, like, I have guys like my best friend, he stays up all night trading it.
See now,
Right?
now,
Like,
if they're doing that
like
though,
up, down. I mean, it's so volatile, right?
But see, Grant and Josh, I think if you're like that, if you're like a boiler room guy with it, and you're watching it close, then I don't think it's a bad idea, because you could be on top of it and know when it's time to run. But if you're not one of those guys, like the guy that we know that owns the Breakers, who has all the TVs and will not talk to you until after Bloomberg's over, no matter if you're building something for him or not, he won't talk to you until, right?
What, 4 p.m. and then he'll sit and then he'll take a phone call?
I would be outside with 3 structural engineers, and until the bell hit, he was not coming out. It didn't matter if the Italian restaurant over there at the Breakers was falling over. Forget it. I mean, it was crazy. But I think if you do it like that, I think it's a safe bet. But just the people that are behind it and they can control it, you know, it's scary.
But is it like, and once again, I don't know enough about it, but is it like MicroStrategy? You know, Michael Saylor. I grew up, Michael Saylor's from Maryland, and he took his whole company and invested in Bitcoin, right?
Pretty much. He put a bunch of Bitcoin on his balance sheet is what he did.
So the question is, can they really dictate? Like, as you're saying, like, can a Putin, can a Michael Saylor, can they dictate which direction?
To some extent.
They
is
can.
what I'm going to say.
Yeah.
Okay.
From what I read, and this is from Snowden and Elon Musk, because you know Elon Musk put the $2 billion in and then pulled it out.
I love that guy, by the way.
But I thought myself that he pulled it out to make a huge profit real quick. Oh wow, Elon Musk put in, the whole world puts in, his $2 billion went to $4 billion. But that's not why he pulled out. He pulled out because he realized that Putin was behind the Bitcoin. And he says it himself on he does like that thing, a little podcast with Snowden every once in a while. It's on YouTube.
Oh, really?
Yeah. But if you're following it and you have it, why not? You know, it's just, I think that the people that only have 30,000 to live on and they put 20 into it, You know, it's,
I think it also goes back to, as I said, you know, like Grant's more the millennial, you know, Gen Z, and they can be aggressive with it. We're starting to get to the age where we're like, all right, how aggressive do we want to get? Like,
you
do I want to put 100% of my portfolio in crypto, or a percentage in crypto and then a percentage in the Apples of the world and the things that you know are going to split at 20?
Grant, you still have that time in your portfolio where you can put it over on the check mark, like, this one didn't go so well, but I learned from it.
Exactly.
Me and him, we're past that. Right? Our portfolio has always got to be this way.
I'm just saying.
Spencer, do you want your college fund in Litecoin or Ethereum?
I actually don't know.
All right.
I'll get back to it. Maybe Dogecoin.
Dogecoin, like a little doggy. You like doggies, right? You don't know?
You like doggies? What's your favorite kind of dog?
I actually don't know.
You don't know?
Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we're at the point where what would you like to talk about? We're going to hand it all over to you.
I do not know.
You do not know.
How about a funny story?
Want to tell a funny story? No. What's your? I got a good story for you. Uncle Papa. Can we tell the Uncle Papa story?
Uh-oh.
All right. So
What happened?
my best friend, his name is Papa, and we'll just say Papa has a lot of ladies like those up on the screen. So over Christmas break, we went with Uncle Papa, and you know, every night Papa might have had another girl.
Maybe.
So maybe.
Keyword maybe.
So my son, being, you know, the utmost of saying what he sees, went to school and he had the best time. So they're going around the room. You know, he goes to Palm Beach Elementary right over here, and they're like, so Johnny, what did you do? Johnny went to the Bahamas. So, you know, Christy, where did you go? Oh, I went skiing. Spencer, what did you do? And he was so happy to say, I hung out with my daddy and my Uncle Papa. And guess what? What did you say, Spence?
What'd you say, Spence?
You can say it.
No, I want you to say it.
You can say it.
I want you to say it.
You want me to say it?
How about he says it, then you say it?
Okay. We'll say it at the same time. What does Uncle Papa have?
Edith.
Ladies. So he told his first grade teacher that he hung out with his daddy and his Uncle Papa that has all the ladies. So when I picked him up, they were excited, but she was like, you know,
buddy.
I just want you to know he was very excited that he hung out with his daddy and his Uncle Papa that has all the ladies.
That's so
And that's first grade teacher.
You're the man, Spencer. You're going to have to peel them off you one day.
One day, you're going to get ladies or no? I don't
Papa
know.
is like a billion of them.
He's going to get a lot of ladies?
Is he the master lady man?
Yeah, he is. So,
Good for him. We'll keep him alive.
yeah, we'll keep him around with us.
So, Grant, how much did the pandemic, did you get a lot of rust from that? Or were you able to practice a lot because you were here and find a way to, but you couldn't do competition, right?
Right. Yeah. No. Well, I think we got pretty lucky. I mean, honestly, because Polo's outside.
Yeah.
And so.
And you were in Florida.
I was in Florida. That helps too, of course. But we also, at the beginning of it, very beginning, we're talking April, May of 2020. We had letters that because we needed to move the horses. So we were, you know, in a way, I think it ended up being essential.
Mm-hmm.
And so we had these letters. We didn't even need to show them. But, you know, we were still playing some practices. You know, everyone leave from their own barn and, like, no sharing jerseys, no sitting in a tent, you know, like keeping the distance, but still playing. And, you know, we were playing some golf on the polo fields, you know, group of friends. And, you know, luckily we were able to do things like that. And obviously being in Florida, that helped.
Oh, okay. So you didn't really feel the
No.
rust that much given where you were.
No, and then we were able to go to Aspen and we were able to play tournaments again behind closed doors, so no spectators. We did the same in the fall of 2020. So we kind of kept playing. We just kind of did it without spectators until, February 2021, I'd say.
So what a good year without.
Yeah, with no spectators. We had to do passes and everything, and, you know, friends and family, staff. That's it, man.
Podcast is brought to you by ExpressVPN. Go to www.expressvpn.com, use code MSCS, and get 20% off your order.
VPN is a power tool for your devices that enhances the internet. With it, you can do 3 really cool things. 1. Watch movies and TV from any of your devices, fast and securely. 2. You can use parts of the internet that are blocked in certain countries. 3. You can keep your internet traffic private, even when you're on an unsecured public network.
That's www.expressvpn.com. Use the code MSCS at checkout and get 20% off your order. First time when you did have spectators again, did you see Russ? Did you notice Russ? Was it a little uncomfortable? The other guys maybe?
I mean, it just kind of felt like things were getting back to normal, to be honest with you. Because last April, we were able to do Miami Beach Polo again, which is also at the end of the season. And, that was a full sold-out event. And, it just kind of felt like things were back to how they were post-COVID.
Yeah, you're lucky you were down here, right? Because how if you would have been somewhere else?
Yeah. Some buddies in California didn't have they had a tougher time. I think they were riding with masks or something. I don't know.
That would be crazy, right? Wouldn't that be pretty hard?
I'm trying to think. We might have had done that in Aspen last year.
Could you
COVID.
breathe? I mean, you're not dead. I mean, you're here.
No, I'm here. I'm chilling. But yeah. I mean, for whatever reason, I guess we had to have the mask somewhat on.
Yeah.
So there were people that had it, like they're covering the nose, whatever,
Right.
not covering
Did
the
the
nose.
horses have to have masks on?
No. No.
You never. If you went to New York, they might have.
Oh, man, I couldn't imagine.
Now, when you're going through like all these processes with this, how do you manage your time? Because
it's tough.
You got a lot.
That's a great
going on.
question. That's a great question. I mean, obviously school is my number one priority at the moment, so that's where most of my time goes. And then, obviously since I've been injured for the last month, I've had more time to put towards the event we're doing with Josh and Nick and everyone, the white party. But normally it'd be, school and then the polo and then, family and hanging out with the girlfriend and friends. That's it.
Yeah, it's probably really good to have a girlfriend because that keeps you grounded.
You
can't go out with your buddies and party.
Exactly.
Or she'll kill you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Well,
So,
yeah. No, look, we got a good trust, but yeah, obviously having a girlfriend helps.
you're not. I mean, you're not out with like 20
of course.
guys. you
Yeah,
know?
I'm not. Yeah, I'm not at the Players Club every Sunday.
You mean you're not with him? Is that what you mean?
Players Club.
No, I get that. Look, I've been seeing a lot of Josh,
Look.
but yeah, obviously having a girlfriend helps and it keeps me,
Grounded, I guess.
yeah, it keeps me grounded and it's been good. It's been good. We're good for each other. You know what I mean? So when I'm slacking in school, I'm like, she's like gives me a kick in the butt.
She's a good girl. I actually met her. We launched his campaign last Thursday at Meat Market.
Oh,
And
okay, cool.
Great girl. He brought her, and we had a nice little group, and it was nice. We had probably
Yeah.
40 or 50 people that showed up to kind of launch the LLS AllStar campaign.
Yeah, it was a nice time. It was a good time. We were able to market a little bit for the event too, which was two birds and one stone in my eyes.
Right?
Handing out flyers, talking to people, and I saw Josh in his element for the first time in a while, and
He
kills
runs that
it.
place.
No, yeah,
Oh,
man, he's good.
Josh-
He's yeah.
and a great host.
No, he's the best host. obviously.
What are you, the marketing manager over there, or
No,
what
you
the hell?
know-
What the heck is actually your
So
role?
basically,
I've been trying to figure out his role there for the last year.
all right. So I have no.
I don't know
role.
if he owns it. I don't know if he owns it with an umbrella company. I don't know if he's got like a merger, an acquisition. Who
So
the
here's
heck knows?
so basically here's the deal. When I had my marketing
You
company,
just give me
which
the
was-
answer. Do you own it, Josh?
Real quickly, I am owning part of the restaurant group that's opening Boca, is your answer. This was the last venue that we got involved with my marketing company. So when they opened, they brought us in to kind of oversee the marketing and everything else. And as I said, I got married. I had my child. The Rachel Steakhouses of the world weren't going to be part of my portfolio anymore. So I got
best steak around,
I got to exchange Rachel's with Meat Market, which my ex-wife agreed to, and that was, knock on wood, 5 years ago. So
sounds
it's
like
a
Mary guy.
it's a restaurant group that owns it. Great guys.
Yeah.
I'm involved with them, and as I said, it's evolved. We're Palm Beach, but I'm going to take more of a role as we move to Boca, and they're actually in Tampa right now, killing it. Literally, like, Tampa is the hottest spot. It's like a 3-week wait to get in to get dinner.
What?
You're
At Meat
kidding.
Market,
So
yeah.
more than Palm Beach.
Different, but yes. I mean, Palm
Wow.
Beach is on fire. Like, we had 2 weeks ago, we had our best night, and we've been open for over 5 years. Our best night we've ever had in 5 years. Like, we're up 30% in sales. It's
Well, I mean,
it's-
I believe it.
yeah, it's well, you know what? It's solid. I mean, we've got a great chef. It's a great restaurant
Yeah.
group that owns it. It's a great
Great
group
food.
of people. As
Oh,
I said, it's all
amazing.
about the people that you put in place.
And I'm not saying this because you're here. You are a great host. You attend to everybody. Sometimes I got to chase you down, but it's because you've already said hello, how you doing, and you got 30 other people coming in. But he does. You're a
No.
great host, man.
Incredible.
And the other guy was always really nice to me. I always forget his name. Italian guy. We talk Italian. I tried to talk Italian to him. I got part of it down, but then he went slang. What's the guy's name?
Which one? Do I work with them?
Yeah, at the meat
Tom-
market. The guy I talk to when I go in there.
Is he a
the
manager?
older guy? Older guy.
I'm not sure.
I'll look up his name later.
Yeah,
you
no,
know
let
who
me
it
know.
is. But
Yeah, no, I'm
you,
sure.
and you got high end guys going in there. Every time I went in there was NBA players in there.
Yeah, we got a good look. It's a good product.
You look around and you're like, wonder who that is, because I know it was somebody if he's over here with this guy, you know.
Yeah, we've had some good. A couple weeks ago, we had like Dustin Johnson when they had just won. You know, him and his wife Paulina Gretzky came every week. See, our thing is this Thursday nights is that night we have the DJ and the cool groups, and as I said, it's all a team. You know, I keep saying it's a team,
great.
but it's so true. Even with what we have up there, you know, like we would not be successful. Obviously, you know, Nick is spearheading it. You know, as you know, the top U.S. polo player, but Grant and I and everybody and Natasha, we all put it all together, and everybody has their role, you know, and as long as the end game is to have a successful event and most importantly raise money for charity, you can't lose.
Now, Grant, when you win that, when you're up there on stage, that has to feel like $1 million, right? Because you got all your peers looking, especially at like the Polo Club. I mean, you know, you got heavy hitters that are going there. You don't even know that they're heavy hitters and they're there, you know?
No, yeah, obviously it'll have a little more meaning being it's for Neil and what Neil meant to me, what he meant to Nick, what he meant to, I mean, everyone participating had a connection with Neil, and everyone obviously organizing the event, and, you know, obviously thanks to Laura Hirsch, we're able to keep Neil's legacy alive and got this beautiful, like Josh said, sterling silver trophy from like 19 something. So it's gonna be amazing. And
hey, how mature is this kid? I asked him. He's not worried about.
Dude, he might be president.
Trophy.
That's why I'm scared of.
You know what? He went to right to Neil that helped him out. Did you catch that?
I did. The only
I respect it a lot, man.
the only downfall is the Cowboy shirt, but
I know. I can't help it, unfortunately.
We have a Mets and Eagles guy. How does he like the Mets?
We're gonna get into this, huh?
The Jets or the Mets?
No, Philadelphia through and through. Philadelphia Sixers, right? Flyers, Eagles. But growing up, I saw Mr. Met Head on TV. I mean, I'm Mr. Met, and I love the Mets, so I'm still a Mets fan. And I'll go to Eagles games. When I used to go to Eagles games, I'd wear my Mets hat with a McNabb jersey, and people look at me and they go, "What the fuck is wrong with this guy?" I'm allowed to be a Mets fan, so let's go Mets.
I like the jersey selection though. I did like McNabb growing up. He was very good quarterback. So.
I liked him until he didn't throw the ball to Terrell Owens at the Super Bowl.
Listen,
and I was at David Buster's and got crushed.
I could sit here and tell everybody McNabb stories that you guys would not believe, so we'll move on. Did you know he went to Syracuse?
Yeah.
Donovan was one of our really, like, in our little group of friends, like, from top to bottom. Like, we've had some amazing times with Donovan. He was at Meat Market not too long ago, and Keith Book, because Syracuse was a small school, but I'm trying to think of a PG-13 Donovan McNabb story, because most of them were
not PG-13.
Not PG-13.
I heard he was a really nice guy. A couple of my friends like knew him personally in Philly.
Great.
They said he was a really nice guy. He wasn't the guy that leaves the check on the table.
No,
you know,
no,
I mean, I can name a couple.
class act.
Robert De Niro. Yeah.
Really?
At his own restaurant. Yeah.
Wow.
While you think, I want to ask Grant something. So, how important is the connection between the polo player and the horse?
Oh, it's everything. I mean, I believe that there's certain horses that connect with players individually on a one-on-one level, and there's obviously certain horses that you feel as a player more comfortable getting on. Like, you feel like confident. It gives you like, oh, I'm getting on this one, man. Try and catch me or try and beat me on this play. And the horse itself could be amazing to me, and I can give it to Nick, and Nick's like, what the hell is this thing, man? I can't play this. So I think it's interesting how certain horses to certain people are amazing, and maybe it's not amazing to everyone else, but the connection and the connection that someone has with their horse is special. And obviously there's certain horses that illuminate that even more in the field.
I ask you that because I think a lot of times, not everybody, but some people might think that horses don't have feelings or animals don't have feelings. They have feelings.
Of course.
Right? So if I would think, and this I'm just speculating, if that's your horse that you're going to play with, compete with, you both need to love each other because he or she, the horse, will work harder for you.
100%.
And vice versa. Now, with you, being that you've accomplished so much already, how did you go about building the connection with your horse, or whatever horse you use?
It's a great question. I mean, I think it's just a matter of, for me, I've had horses come in from Argentina for my parents.
Also, probably explain how many horses you have.
Oh,
so it isn't one horse.
Yeah,
they
no,
probably
no,
don't understand that.
No,
like,
no, I saw Malta, but I just saw how that picture with the horse, and you could tell that just isn't a picture for for show. You could tell that there's a real connection there, and then that made me think, sports wise, like that horse better like you, because if not, I don't think you're going to do too well.
No,
well, like how many? I don't even know how many horses in your state. Like how many do you have to have?
For me personally.
For you personally,
I got up like 16 right now.
You got 16 horses?
16 horses, yeah.
Whoa.
I told you need a lot of horses because they play Tucker. Yeah, like.
So I'll play, in a high goal, 26 goal World Polo League match, I'll play 12.
That's
up to 12, minimum probably 8.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah.
And you have a bond with all 12.
Yeah.
Unbelievable.
And you know what horse is good at what time and like, right?
Yeah,
and they start them when you need them. Yeah.
So Josh is right. So basically if you play them in the beginning, they're really good. And if you see them again at the end, they're really, really good because they've played, the beginning and the end. And usually in the middle is when you put the horses that are not as good or the ones that you don't feel as confident on.
And then do you figure that out through trial and error? What horse is good in the beginning, what horse is middle, and what horse is a closer, kind of?
Yeah, no, for sure. I mean, I have my mare. I know that I play in the beginning and the end if it's a big game, and I know that getting on her at the end, I know that, I feel all the confidence in the world. But there's other horses that know that, hey, I can't maybe get on this one in the middle of the period because he's, I got to get off and get back on. I can't jump on him because I usually jump change. So I'll jump from horse to horse. But he kicks, so I have to get off and hop on him. And he takes a little longer, so I do that at the beginning of the period.
So, like, in another sense, that particular horse, once you're on him and you're done with him or she, he's done. Because he doesn't like getting jumped on and then jumped off.
Well, I can jump off of him, but not onto him.
Onto him, because he's not, that's not his
not his style. Yeah, he won't let me do it.
That's so cool. That's so
weird.
Interesting to me.
It's weird, but once you get on him, he's good. He's pretty chill, actually.
Sorry, this is interesting.
No, it's
I'm learning
amazing.
about
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's interesting.
Have you been to a polo match?
One. I've only been to one with Glenn, and he drove me nuts.
Glenn Straub.
I've actually played against Glenn a bunch.
Yeah, he's not bad. He's not bad.
No.
He just needs to stop falling asleep in that bounty. No, I'm cool. He's cool. He's always been very kind to me, So how did you build your relationship with the 12 horses? Forget about one.
Well, I mean, this year's been interesting for me as well because my parents got me some horses from Argentina.
Congratulations.
So, yeah, thank you. So they've been amazing.
Well, you work hard,
Yeah, so far they've been amazing. And, a couple of them were going really, really well before the injury. And, I think it's just practice, riding, stick and ball, personal time, and it kind of builds a bond and kind of seeing, what their strengths are and talking about, because they're coming in new. Maybe my groom and I, who's been amazing ever since I've had him, talk about maybe putting them in a different bridle or, trying some things out. Because if you're getting a new horse from Argentina, you don't know what bridle they go in. I mean, they can tell you one thing, but maybe for you it doesn't work as well. And, it kind of takes a little bit of trial and error in that sense.
How is their personalities?
So it's interesting. Some of the horses don't like standing still. Like some people don't like standing still, right? So if you're waiting a lot, you're doing the whole presentation and anthems like that. Some horses aren't good for that.
So you got
it annoys
ADHD.
them. They get annoyed. They'll kick the ground and you know what I mean? Or they'll still spin in circles. They'll walk in circles. They can't stay still. And so maybe this one's not good for the national anthem, right? But it doesn't mean that when you're playing, they're just can't stand still. Maybe in the game they're super chill. Or they could be just very chill, like the chill in their temperament. And then on the field, they're, all fiery and lightning fast and all that stuff. So it just depends. I mean, they're basically the answer is they're like us. They have all these different personalities and they could be chill one moment and, fly buzzes around them and they get angry. Or it's first practice of the season, it's windy and cold and they're pissed and they start bucking.
Yeah.
It happens. So it just depends.
I asked you that just because of the jockeys I knew. And he was really good. He was really good in New York. You probably know him, but I don't know his current situation. But he was really good, and it was so funny. The horse that and he was a beast, man. He won. I mean, he never made it to the huge things, but for locally and around the East Coast, he was very good. His horse, the horse had to have sugar cookies. He had to give it a sugar cookie.
Give it treats. Yeah.
Or it wouldn't
I
come
mean,
out.
what were those sugar cookies laced with? Is the question.
That?
I don't.
No, yeah. I mean, it's a great question.
No,
but
some horses respond well to treats. Interesting enough, the Argentine horses though, they don't really get the idea of treats because they
never probably were experienced.
They don't experience it, right?
Because they eat real fresh over there.
Yeah, they just eat feed and stuff like that. But I mean, a lot of horses, even the jumpers, like they'll get treats or special treats that they like because they're more in America. More of the American horses know what treats are because if they're given treats from a younger age, they know what they are and they sometimes even expect them. You give an Argentine horse a carrot, they're like, "What the hell is that?" They don't even know what it is. Give them an apple, they're like, they won't even know what to do with it.
They're like, do I hit this or just
what would I do with this?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is.
No, but with my buddy, no, he was just I think he was out one night real late, and it was when he first got this particular horse, and he just sat there and he was talking to it about his ex-wife or whatever he was doing because I had taken him home. And he started feeding it sugar cookies in Pennsylvania. They used to be soft, like real soft ones. So whenever I would go see him, he would ask me to grab those sugar cookies from there. And I say, "For what? The horse again?" And ever since that day, he wouldn't want to come out of the stall. But you give him one sugar cookie, boom, he's ready to go.
It's interesting.
But it was because he kept giving it to him. You know? So now he played the game. Well, I'm not coming out unless I get
a sugar cookie. That's what I expect.
Now he's a diabetic, that horse.
And it was just so. That's why I asked you about that because of the personalities and being that you got 12 personalities.
Yeah, all different.
Do they all eat different too?
No, they eat the same.
Yeah.
Yeah, they all eat the same. I mean, it's easier that way off the bat. Number one, and number two. I mean, they're all training for the same purpose. So even if they're all different temperaments, the feeding has to be the same.
And that's what I had said to him. I said, "Why don't you just stop giving it to him? Let him sit there. You got to teach him a lesson." He goes, "You don't understand. It's not like that. You want the horse happy. If I got to give him a cookie, I'm going to give him a cookie. All right.
Yeah.
It was just amazing to me. This whole thing is amazing because this is all new. Did you know a lot about polo when you were living up there?
No, I mean, down here I covered a few events at the Polo Club. It's cool seeing it.
You guys got to come out on Friday.
Yeah, it was cool.
You'll see it firsthand.
You got sold out.
I think we might be able to pull a couple.
You think you can pull a...
We might be able to pull a
Spencer,
couple.
can you make a move for me?
Yeah. You coming to polo, dude? You don't know? You got your white outfit?
You gonna wear all white?
Yeah.
Might have to peel the ladies off you, but
I got one quick question for you. So, like in polo, it's like a competitive match, right? You're out there like any other sport. Any fights ever happen like afterwards? Like it's like competition, so it's hormones racing. Any fights?
I mean, I've never seen one like physical.
Yeah.
But man, the smack talk it's a lot in Spanish, believe it or not.
yeah, a lot of trash
And it's
talk.
oh my goodness. I mean, they say everything in the book.
You wouldn't think that.
Yeah.
From an outsider looking in, you wouldn't think that.
No, because it's away from. I mean, you can sometimes if you know what they're saying, you can get it. But I mean, a lot of it happens when no one else can really hear it.
Like, is there
Put it that way.
Is there like a dirty hit, like in hockey or something? Like any?
Yeah, you can. So I mean, yeah, there's some. I mean, yeah. I mean, you can basically get people off speed, and also you're supposed to bump people shoulder to shoulder when you make contact to win possession.
Well, also remember how polo is. There's 4 players, so 4 against 4, and depending what the match is, it adds up. So, for example, as Grant said, Grant's a 3-goaler, Nick's an 8-goaler, so that's 11. So if they're playing 26, they can come up with 15 more goals. So maybe it's a 10 and a 5, or a set. So there's a lot of strategy that goes into it. Like, I've really gotten into it and watched it over the years, and you can see with the matches, it's almost like a lot of times the patron would be, a 0 or a 1, and then they'll play with a bunch of other. That's why it's so impressive with Grant. He's very humble, but he's a 3. That tends to be on the higher side of, right? Which sometimes you've got to get creative because if you're a 3,
it definitely makes it different to build the team
to get up,
for sure. But no, I mean, there's definitely dirty hits. You can hit someone behind the saddle, what it's called, and what happens is if you kind of you can clip someone else's horse and then you can go down. That's the dangerous play. It's the most dangerous play in polo, in my opinion. So obviously there's some dangerous aspects of the game. It's a dangerous game. But
Cressida, I mean, we can name a lot of our friends who aren't around, right? Like,
like Carlos.
Carlos Cressida got one of the nicest guys I ever met. 10-goaler from Mexico, was one of the founders of the sport, and that was just outplaying.
Yeah, 14 goal in
What happened to
Wellington.
him?
His horse, I think, fell over, right?
Yeah,
Horse
yeah.
fell, and
Fell on top of me, his head hit the ground, and
Oh,
so it's a
passed
dangerous.
away.
Yeah,
So,
it's Sonny Hale. Like, there's a lot of
Yeah.
different people that were the founders of these sports. She was one of the women that helped spearhead it also. So it is a very dangerous.
now when that happened, was that a dirty hit or it was just a fluke accident?
battle luck fluke accident.
Yeah, it
Yeah, I mean,
happens.
dirty hits. Usually, you don't see people pass away, but you see some serious injuries for sure.
Yeah.
and
never
also
think-
fluke accidents can happen too in injuries. Like for example, how I got hurt. I mean, obviously it's not the comparison to someone passing away, but I got hurt on a play that it wasn't anyone's fault. It was just bad luck.
Yeah, you just moved
Just
the wrong
happened.
way.
I moved the
guess.
wrong way. The horse, stopped, and I kind of went, and my leg went one way. I kind of held on the other way, and that was it. It's as simple as that. And then I've seen people. We were playing once at like a fun practice, and someone fell off super slow, and he's like, my leg hurts. Like, you're fine. Get back up. No, my leg really hurts. I think it might be broken. Oh, and he was going like at a trot. You know what I mean? Like slow. And so it's interesting in polo. Some of the falls that look like even slow motion or slower tend to be like the ones where people get really injured. And it sounds weird saying that. You'd think like going really fast and hard and falling hard. Sometimes when they fall, people usually roll and get back up, and they're usually all right. But it's crazy. Some of the injuries
But
that happen
sometimes
just blow
not.
your mind.
Yeah.
Sometimes not.
Yeah, because you
Weird.
look at it and you kind of think you have safety, but then I mean, you got a lot of things swinging around.
Well, it's
Yeah.
gotten a lot more safe than it used
Yeah.
to be, and the helmets have improved a lot. The helmets used to be, they wouldn't protect you from falling from this chair. So, but yeah, the helmets have been, impact proof now, and there's a lot less injuries and stuff like that. It's safer than it used to be, but it's still a dangerous game. There used to be a lot more concussions because the helmets weren't that great, and then the umpires used to not even wear helmets. So
What are they, nuts?
yeah, they were wearing little baseball caps, baseball
They
hats.
need their- they might need
Yeah.
baseball caps when there's horses
Yeah.
running around
they're-
and sticks.
Well,
being
yeah, the
swung?
umpires are actually on a horse. So
Yeah, still.
they'd be in the
I'm wearing it. I'm wearing
like
it.
20 years ago in Argentina, in the highest level in the world, they were wearing baseball hats. Yeah,
Well, with the highest level in the world, that if they get
Yeah.
clocked,
yeah,
they're not getting up, right?
yeah. They're wearing baseball. They're wearing hats. So, it's definitely changed a lot. It's become a lot more safe, and I think today they take every measure possible to have the highest level of safety, and it's still a dangerous game, but I mean it's definitely a lot more safe than it used to be.
Right, and probably they also don't want it to turn into the whole NFL thing where
Yeah.
now
Oof.
everybody's getting a concussion. Now you can't
Well,
do this and that. and,
Well,
you know.
I mean, the hits were pretty bad.
Yeah,
There were some gnarly ones.
but I mean, Polo's kind of attacking that now.
Yeah,
You know,
they're
like,
gonna.
they're,
Yeah,
they're,
'cause
get, they're on top of it.
Well,
now.
yeah, there were a good amount of concussions, of course, and there
Sure.
were some moments where people were getting more of them
Yeah,
because they were saying there were certain helmets they were saying were safer, quote unquote, and they weren't.
One
And
how much
people were
they-
getting concussed a lot in England, and they said, you know what, we're gonna make a standard that you have to have your helmet. It's called NOXI approved, and so you have to have your helmet NOXI approved, or you can't compete, you can't play.
That-
Simple as that.
That's cool because that tells me that polo in itself is they're trying to get ahead of the game. Like
Yeah.
referring to like the NFL,
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
trying to be ahead of it, so
Sure.
they don't have to go through all that, and that's great,
Yeah.
especially for you because I mean the way it looks, you might have to worry about that NBA too much. I mean it's good to have, but
No,
you
for
know.
sure. I'm definitely.
Yeah,
gonna,
you always. I'm just
yeah.
joking. I'm messing.
Yeah, no, I know. It's
You
I
always
like
gotta have a
I like
fallback.
having my options open.
Yeah, absolutely. Because you could have a fluke accident that isn't a groin, and then what?
Exactly.
But
And
if
then
you got
what?
that NBA to go back on, and you got him, we'll find something, right? And
We'll
you're
do something
humble,
fun.
and you're humble, and you got your head on straight, So
Trying, man.
yeah. Now, what do you think of Russia and Ukraine? Not politically, no, just in general. When he flattens them, which one way or another, I don't see any other way of it stopping.
Yeah.
How bad does this hurt us in general?
I think we're putting some good sanctions on it. It's going to be interesting to see what happens because I think he's going to keep moving forward, but I also think there's a lot of pressure on him right now, and even though he's like rah-rah, I mean, what, it's been a week?
A week? It's been, today's what, day 15?
It's already
2 weeks. Yeah, it's
been 2 weeks.
Yeah,
and I mean,
think so.
he definitely thought by now he would be, he would have flattened them and everything else. And I look, I'm a big fan of the leader of Ukraine. I think he's
got some cojones.
right.
Yeah.
I mean,
Man.
the question is how long is he going to survive? And if they get him, does he become a martyr? And does
Wow.
and that what happened yesterday with Poland and that's close because that's World War III.
Yeah.
If they end up a NATO ally and hitting somebody in NATO, because then it's World War III. So that's the thing that scares me.
Yeah, because
more
that was right between the Poland, which is NATO, and then the U.S. Some base that they had. It was kind of like right in between.
15 miles.
That was a warning to see what we would do. Come on.
Yeah.
It has to be. But they keep saying he's slow playing it, and why hasn't he done this? You got to think from a business standpoint, right? And you too.
Of course.
If you're going to take a country, do you really want to flatten it and you got to spend all that money to rebuild it? I mean, he's not an idiot. He's not a dumb guy.
No, he's a smart guy.
So
and
not that what I think he's doing is the right thing, but I think when he's hitting those civilian buildings, not now, but earlier on, there was only like 8 or 9 people in there. That's 8 or 9 people, I understand. But how if he was doing that to say, hey, civilians, go, because I'm coming, and you can't stop me. Go, because ultimately he's going to take it over, and ultimately he's going to have to rebuild everything he blows up. And then that's not even his problem, in my opinion, Josh. Mm-hmm. His problem is going to be once he takes it over, which he could do like that if he wanted to, in my opinion, getting the people to even look at him as anything other than a murderer. I mean, that's going to be his biggest problem. Sure, he can flatten it and take it over, but then what?
Exactly.
You got how many countries that don't like you now?
Yeah.
And they're squeezing him right now. I mean, they're really like it's a
they?
tough. I think they are to an extent. I mean, they went after all of his oligarchs. They went after everybody with money. Anybody that was funding anything, even though they say he could be the richest guy in the world. Well, this is why I think he's in danger because when those rich guys around him start losing money, maybe Putin doesn't care, but those guys, those heavy hitters that are losing money, the hedge fund guys and everything else, like they keep saying, he better get quadruple bodyguards because when their market keeps going down, and MasterCard doesn't work and, they're not closing deals anymore. I mean, there's somebody somewhere that isn't getting the money that they usually get. Dude, they're taking all their planes, they're taking all their toys, and they're going to start.
Yeah, they're taking yachts,
boats, planes,
so
everything.
Maybe Putin don't care, but those guys care, and those guys got a lot of power. And
that's why we're. I mean, at the end of the day, that's why NATO's squeezing them. We're saying, okay, look, if we can't, Putin doesn't care. Everyone knows Putin doesn't care. He's a.
But maybe the people around him will.
And that's what I think's happening.
Now, Grant, you're new to all this, but what do you? If Taiwan takes China, or if China takes Taiwan,
right?
Do you see that happening next?
I do. And the interesting thing is, my friends, they go to the University of Miami, and apparently they have kids that are from China in their class, and they ask sometimes, was China going to take Taiwan? And they go, yeah, probably soon. So like casually, like they know it's going to happen.
Right.
I mean, China has the biggest navy in the world. But what my friends do say, and I agree with this, is China will be a little more humane with the way they take it over. It'll be a little less.
I agree with you.
It won't be like Putin in Ukraine.
I agree with you.
It'll be much more seamless. And also, Taiwan's a small island. Ukraine's a population of 40 million with a lot of natural resources.
Yeah,
it's a big country. It's not just like
Ukraine is. I think like California has 48 million people. Ukraine has about 41, 40. So it's not even as big as California.
But still.
I agree with you. I think China will just go in and it will be a quick in and out.
Well, I think China's watching how the world is reacting to Putin. They're sitting back right now from 30,000 feet and they're just watching.
Now, am I right about this, Josh? China is very, very concerned about their reputation, right?
Mm-hmm. And I think business. I think they're definitely concerned about how they're viewed. I think they're also very concerned about business. Look, we put a lot of sanctions and different things on them. You know, I mean, our last president was saying it was the Chinese virus. You know, so there was a lot of negativity about the Chinese people, I think, for several years. So I definitely think that they're very cognitive of what's going on and how they're viewed and everything else. So it'll be interesting.
See, I'm with you. I think they are. But if Putin doesn't end this quick, he might wait, because the thing that China has that we don't have is patience. They'll wait another 100 years for the right time. I mean, they're just on that level. Do you see them waiting, or do you think they're going in?
I think, you know, I don't know. I think a lot's going to come down to our once again.
I've never
is
heard
Biden
this man
going to make?
say, I don't know.
Is Biden going to? Is Biden winning again?
No, I don't.
So if Biden's not winning, and we all know we're local, Trump is probably going to run. And if Trump gets in, I think he's, you know, Putin isn't. I don't think Putin would have gone into Ukraine if Trump was in, because he's a wild card. And I don't think Putin would have known how Trump would have reacted. You know, same thing with China. I think they don't know. I think with Biden, they can do whatever they want. Right? He can go into here. You know, if China goes, we're not going to do anything. We're going to talk like we're talking now, and nothing's going to happen.
Well, and I don't think, and I think you would agree with me, I don't think you do anything now. It's too late. You should have negotiated before it even happened. You can't go in now. What are you going to do? Close the airspace? Then you're going to have World War III.
Yes.
You know what I mean? If China does decide to go in, what are you going to do? Mess with them? Taiwan isn't NATO. You just got to let it happen. It's too late. Now is the time to go talk to China and try to negotiate a deal. As if they didn't know this was happening. I mean, China asked Russia to hold off on all this until after the Olympics. If we know that, they knew that 9 months ago.
Exactly.
So this moron had 9 months to go well, I mean, look at the people that are getting taken out, because this guy, or I don't even know who you would send in that cabinet. I mean, what's your choices?
Pelosi?
She would have done better than the other two. But it should have been, don't you think?
I agree.
As a young, very intelligent man, it should have been negotiated before it even ever started. Okay, you want the West? Look, pal, he's coming. Why don't you take what he's willing to give you? Just take it. Just take it. There you go, Putin. You have it, and this all ends. And he might have made that deal. But now, what are you going to do? There's nothing you can do now.
Well, go ahead. I was going to say, the peace talks they were having on the border, come on. Like, that was going to happen?
Yeah.
No way.
It's too late for all that.
No, once Putin invaded, there was no peace talks. I mean, I don't know.
The real issue is going to be, once he gets Ukraine, is he going to keep going? And that's the $1 million. That's the question.
I think so.
Yeah.
And if he does, then it's World War III. Because I think we've kind of said, okay, Ukraine's one thing. We're not going to put troops on the ground. We're not. But if they go to Latvia, if they go to they're not going to Poland or a NATO.
No, they're not.
So they're going to start
is Latvia NATO?
No, it's not NATO.
No.
That's why those are the ones.
What about I know Estonia's NATO.
Yeah, I think he's going to go Ukraine, Moldova. Am I saying that right? Moldova, because that's nothing. That's not
NATO, huh?
No.
Okay.
No, so I think he'll hit Ukraine. How to say it again?
Moldova.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And then I think China steps in. And if you're talking to people that are from China, that have family in China, they know what's going to happen. I think he's probably.
You think they'll step in before they invade Taiwan, though?
You mean? Do I think China will make a move before they go to Malvado or before Ukraine is done? I think he probably said to Putin, "Look, you need to end this quick, like soon. Otherwise, either he's not going to back him because it's just making China look too bad to the country. I mean, they care about what they look like.
Right. They care about the image. Yeah.
So the word in China right now might be that they're making that move, but as the days go on and everybody knows that China's behind Russia, that's making China look bad.
Right.
And China doesn't want to look bad.
Of course.
They're egotistic, and plus they got some geniuses over there too.
They can't look bad.
Yeah.
They gotta give all the, they gotta keep trading with the US and Europe and UK.
The problem with both of those governments are they dictate the media.
I was just going to say it's censored. Yeah. Russia's completely censored.
Yeah, they turned everything off.
China, when they took over Hong Kong, they took over the last free press media outlet in China. China's 100% media censored. They even limit how much screen time people can have or video games or something.
They cut it off. They cut it. If you have a child in the house under the age of 14, because I deal with them with my marketing firm, they cut it off at 6 p.m. Because one of the guys that I sub to, he's got a kid. He's got a son. I said, could you wait like another year? He didn't. But anyway, so even though he's working, no internet. 6 p.m. he has no internet. Thankfully, they're 24 hours different.
I think we're in trouble for this government. For our regiment right now, what we currently have running our country, I think we're in trouble for the next couple of years. And I think it's only going to get worse. But what I'm hoping is it doesn't become World War III. And I think that's what we're all hoping.
Right, yeah. No one wants World War III. But at the same time, it's like, if you do all these sanctions to Putin, great. If you, have all these companies saying, we're not going to sell to you, we're not going to use our services in your country, great. But and you don't intervene in Ukraine because it's not NATO. I get that, but if he's not stopping now, what's going to stop him? That's my concern.
I agree with you.
And I agree too, but I think that's when, if he does take Ukraine, I think that's it. I think he cannot go to what we had just discussed. I think they're not going to let him go to Moldova and Latvia.
I think that. Well, who's going to stop him?
I think that's when NATO has to step up. I think they're going to have to. They're going to have to stop because. I hope I'm wrong, but I think that's when somebody's going to have to step up and say, look, this is the same thing we saw with World War II.
Nah, he's going to go take Moldova because nobody can do anything. Because he doesn't have to fear NATO. So what does he care? He might as well. We're not. Well, it's too late now. What are we going to do? Protect Moldova? What are they? Might be 20,000.
But what makes them better than Ukraine or whatever? Right?
Nothing does. It's just that they're not NATO. So
well,
he can
exactly.
But
if you already have said you're not going to help a non-NATO country like the Ukraine, why would you then help Moldova?
Right. Exactly. So it's free. So to him, it's like, well, might as well.
I might as well. I'm already doing this. I've already got sanctions. Everywhere. The ruble's gone down 300%. What do I care?
He doesn't care.
Yeah. He doesn't care at all.
And what's funny is you put on the TV. Oh, we're going to sanction him this. Do you really think that Putin wasn't prepared way ahead of time for sanctions? Of course he was prepared. He's not an idiot. And China, on the other hand, they've been ready for this for 100 years.
Mm-hmm. I just think you got to, with everything, and we do it, it's the pros and the cons. Yeah. And I think, as I said, I definitely don't think, as you guys said, 15 days. He thought it was going to take him 15 days to take over Kiev and take over the country. So there's some, I think, legitimacy to what we hear, where it wasn't as easy. They weren't just letting him in as he thought it was going to go.
Well, who in the world thought that just a normal guy would, that they were handing out AKs saying, go, and half the country says, give me one, let's go. I mean, nobody expected that.
No.
So I think that's the first kind of hurdle where now he's sitting back saying, okay, we didn't just walk into the country. They're going to fight us, and they've got this, leader who's going on TV and giving Winston Churchill speeches, and there's a lot of stuff going on but it's an interesting time. So it'll be interesting to see what happens.
Well, we all are here to live through all of this, and this will definitely be in the history books one day, I would think, right?
Yeah.
Definitely.
So do you think World War III will happen in our lifetime? He might croak, but our lifetime? I'm just kidding, Josh. I'll keep you around.
Thanks, my friend.
Not more than once.
God, I hope not, but it's seeming, this happening just makes it all more likely, unfortunately.
I would have said no until that missile yesterday with Iran, because now you got Iran involved.
Right.
So now with that to me, I'm with you. Sooner or later in our lifetime, it's going to.
It's bound to happen.
Now, they might calm down with the next president, but then another weak guy will come in, or maybe we might have another weak one.
But the question is, what is, and I'm going to say,
where we could play polo and do a podcast.
I'm going to say World War III hopefully is not, nuclear. Is it going to be more cyber? Because I think that's the direction it's going, where it's more like, right now I believe we probably have technology where we could shut down a country. Have we used it? Probably not. But the Elon Musks of the world and a lot of these very intelligent people could figure out a way to get in and do what they used to say, those dirty bombs or whatever it is, where they could. So I feel like there's World War III, if it does happen, is going to be different than it would have been 30 or 40 years ago.
I agree with you. I think it will be cyber, and way worse than an actual physical war, because cyber means power grids, satellites get knocked out. That's a whole different ball game, and just hopefully not anything with biochemicals.
That's
the dangerous one. What happened with the TV show?
So they're actually filming it right now. In fact, when we came, they're filming it, but it went in a different direction, which is fine with me. I've already done my TV thing. They're basically coming from the buyer's standpoint, and they've got a host. So Burdett Productions is putting it on. In fact, one of the salons that I have right now just had 4 hours of filming. They're filming it again. And they're doing it more right now of buyers going in, meeting the 3 different businesses, shaking everybody's hands, and then figuring out which one they're going to buy. So it's good. Like, they're not using the brokers as much as they were supposed to, which for me, as I said, is fine because, look, if the deal happens, I still get paid on it.
So,
And and I don't need, as I said, it all works out at the end. But yeah, it'll. They just started filming 2 weeks ago. They're going to film for another 4 weeks. I'll probably, with a couple of them, get involved if it gets to the final negotiations, because that's when they're going to bring apparently the group in. So you're going to have the buyers, the sellers, the hosts, the brokers, and we're going to sit across and start negotiating how we get the deals done.
Yeah, you'll get some moves out of that.
But it definitely, I mean, look, as I said, Burdett Company picked it up. It's CNBC, as we said last time, and it's definitely happening, but it just kept getting pushed back.
Well, everything that's been going on, everything's pushed back.
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, last 2 questions, and I'll let you guys get out of here. One, are you concerned with AI, artificial intelligence, like robots, Neuralink, all that?
I mean, when you say, am I concerned? I mean, I think it's a different animal nowadays, as we discussed, than it was when we were younger. You know, there's no more, I think, yes, it's going to take away from the factory worker. I think it's going to take away from the everyday person that might be waiting tables or going in and doing, you know, manual labor, or down here, you know, the customer service aspect. Yes. But big picture, I think there's always going to be a need for people to operate the artificial intelligence. So people like Grant and the younger generation that's coming in will still need to have some type of responsibility with it, because
I hope you're right, because I don't think so.
See, but you know what? For me, there's always, and we used it last time, like there's that difference between, yes, all the kids can be behind their computers, but you still need to be able to talk to people. Right? You're still going to need to have some type of communication with certain industries and certain things. You know, like we said, like the customer service, like people are still going to get their hair done. You know what I mean? They're still going to go out. You know, so yes, I think AI can do a lot of it, but I also think on the end of the day, there's still going to be a role and you're still going to need some people. But it'll be interesting because there's definitely a lot of...
Until it has a conscience that we give to it every day of our lives through our phones and internet, until it has feelings, and then it realizes that it can take us out in no time. And unless you got that Neuralink chip in that you can even maybe hang with the thing, there's this thing called immortal and we're mortal. And once they realize that we're killing the planet, you got to, I mean, long term.
Look, at the end of the day,
I've read too much about this.
Look, at the end of the day, we're all going to go home, and tonight they're going to talk about Russia. They're going to every time, right? Everything on my phone when I go home is going to be this conversation. So it tells you, all right, what's going on right now here?
We are building that robot that the guy in the tighty whities with the bag of chips is eating. We're building when he gets his newspaper. Buy Sandra, the new robot that will come and cook you dinner and tell you how great you are. I see it within 20 years, 25 at most. What do you think?
No.
He knows more than both of us.
Oh, without a doubt.
I
haven't
mean,
been in school in a long time.
I think what AI can do medically is really interesting. I think that's unbelievable. Still, though, I don't. It's tough to know how far away we are, because we're talking about commercializing something that maybe they're starting to do. You know, maybe assembly lines, stuff like that. But I mean, the assembly line is gonna have to change eventually. It couldn't stay the same for 100 years. You know what I mean? I mean, we've got all these new technology. I mean, Elon Musk has got Starlink, for Christ's sake.
Yeah.
I mean, he was able to give a whole country internet on satellites. That's pretty incredible.
And how much respect do you got to give him? And nobody else would.
Unbelievable. With a fire of a tweet. Ukraine tweeted, "Hey, Elon Musk, want to help us out?" And he said, "Sure."
Heck of a
He
man.
tweeted back, "No problem. I got you. Starlink's going up."
And then he went live and he said, "Hey, be careful with that because they can tap it." I mean, he's a hell of a man. I mean,
and then he was telling everybody to,
Unreal.
with the gas situation. I mean, that was unbelievable. Like, it's
he's
against everything that he made his money on. And he's like, look, you have to figure out the gas situation, right? Like,
he's just a real guy.
I agree.
And I think he cares. And, the first thing he's doing with that Neuralink is fixing if you're a paraplegic. That's the first
Really?
thing. He's trying to get it approved right now, where they put a little hole in, shoot the wires like a fishing line. It hits the part of the brain that makes you paralyzed, basically.
Wow.
And that's the initial one. Right now, it's under FDA approval. So
That's
that would be
that's
the first
unbelievable.
Neuralink.
I just love guys like he doesn't care, I don't think. Like, he'll smoke a joint and then he'll tweet and he'll he's worth $200 billion or
He
whatever
sold all
the
his
number
houses,
is, right?
He
Like,
sold all his houses but one. But he is dead set on a AI force. He keeps begging. He was begging Trump. Trump didn't listen. He begged Biden. He begged Obama. AI force, because this guy knows what's coming. They don't. We don't. This guy is able to develop a fishing line that he could throw a chip in you and make you as fast as any computer on the planet, where we don't even need to move our mouth to talk. He has it. And if you don't think it's already done, I mean, your elevator isn't going to the top. But the approval will take forever. But they're starting with Alzheimer's, paraplegics, and there's one other one I can't remember. But those are the three that are right now under FDA approval.
It's impressive.
Yeah, I just wanted to.
It's impressive. No, it's impressive, and I think it's going to be interesting to see how they commercialize AI, to be honest with you.
Me too. How do you think they do it?
That's a great question.
We're gonna.
I mean, maybe restaurants.
Yeah.
Maybe like a McDonald's is the way I could see it. Like Josh said, maybe waiting in some capacity.
Well,
but from your point of view,
have you been to McDonald's recently?
Oh, yeah,
the brand new
touchscreens.
McDonald's
Yeah.
are getting close.
Yeah.
I mean, you
What,
go in.
are you talking about
yeah,
the kiosk?
the
touchscreen? Yeah.
and you push the kiosk.
That started in Europe, by the way.
Did
I
it
saw
really?
that in Europe. Yeah, in Sweden, they had it years ago.
Really? In Sweden?
Yeah, they had their own McDonald's called Max, and they did the whole touchscreen kiosk thing. They're like, no one would wait in line to go to the desk. I'm like, what are people doing? This is like 2017 or 2018. Wow. Like, what are these people doing? Like, no, you just go to the kiosk. I'm like, oh, okay.
Wawa.
Yeah.
Wawa was the first with their.
Yeah, they were. That's right. Wawa and Sheetz from up in Pennsylvania.
We just got back. Spencer's favorite place is a place called Buc-ee's. Has everyone heard or seen Buc-ee's?
I've heard of it. I've heard of it.
Oh my gosh.
Is it good?
It's, how would I describe it? It's almost like, think Wawa, but like middle America country. So you walk in and there's 20 different types of beef jerky. Yeah. There's someone in the center making brisket sandwiches, fried chicken sandwiches. Like the sodas is like 2 miles long of the different sodas. I mean, everyone in there's about 300 pounds, but there must have been 1,000 people in this place. And it was like, it had gas. Like, because Wawa's whole thing was their gas was always 20 cents cheaper. So the gas was a little bit cheaper.
Yeah, I don't think Wawa's gas is 20 cents cheaper now.
Probably not anymore, but that was how they started. And then they had the subs and everything. But yeah, and Buc-ee's, it's like a shopping center. You can buy gifts, you can buy a little bit of everything when you go in there. It's definitely an interesting. Next time you go up to Orlando, there's one in Orlando and one near Jacksonville.
Really?
Just swing in, and they do. What I love about their marketing, because I'm a marketing guy, when we grew up driving down, you would see Pedro at south of the border, right? So it was always Pedro in 50 miles. Buc-ee's does the same thing in Florida.
Smart.
And they make, and every couple miles there'll be a sign that says, Buc-ee's ready for you and all sorts of funny things. And kids like my son would watch it and would be like, wow, Buc-ee's. And then you go and he's like, they've got a... what's the game that he plays? Not Roblox, but what's the game that you play?
What do you play, Spence?
At Buc-ee's, where they had the Pokemon.
Pokemon.
So
Pokemon.
Buc-ee's had a Pokemon stop in front of their place. So he gets out, right? And he spins and gets all the free stuff. And I'm like, smart. I don't know how they figured it out, but there was a Pokemon stop.
That's cool.
At the at Buc-ee's.
I do agree with you, though. Initially, you need people to run the AI. I was meaning like later on when it really kicks in.
I mean, look, 100 years from now, we probably won't be alive. I mean, we'll live longer. I just want to be alive after our party on Friday night. But I think at some point it's going in that direction. I just think it's it's going to be. It's an interesting time. It's like pros, cons, everything else, and we'll see what happens.
And I'll tell you what, you gave me a lot of good advice. You did. Early on, you gave me a lot of good advice, not just about this stuff, but about other things. You did. So I thank you, Josh. You really did.
Look, as I said, I love coming. This is the second time I've came in, Grant. Like I came the first time, it was just us. And Nick apologizes. Nick has a game. That's why Nick wasn't here tonight. But Grant and I wanted to come in and obviously
I appreciate you guys
come in and support you. This is awesome. This new studio that you have is is ridiculous.
Well, maybe you'll
and,
come more than once every 8 months.
Look,
That's
I
why I go
wanted
to
to-
the meat market on a Thursday.
Look, I think it's the same. You've been to meat market as many times
Yeah.
as I've done podcasts. So,
well, I always do them on Thursdays.
Okay.
I always do them
Look.
Monday and Thursday, so it's tough.
Look, I think we're even. You've been to
Yeah.
meat market twice, right?
Right.
And I've been here podcast twice. So whichever one comes first, either I'll come to a third or you'll come to meat market for dinner or, hopefully you guys come and see our white party. You can bring your daughter and your wife or come solo and we'll introduce some babes.
and then I get a bullet in my head. Yeah. I got a bullet in my head from the last one that I'm still paying.
It's all good.
Oh yeah, I did want to bring up one of the things I didn't realize you did, the foundation that you do for boys and girls. You want to talk about that a little bit?
This one. Well, this was, I think we talked about it last time, but this was basically when my good friend Pierre played for the Washington Redskins. The Boys and Girls Club was underfunded, and we came in and asked what they needed us to do, and what they needed us to do was basically fund their after-school programs for 12 Boys and Girls Clubs downtown Washington, D.C., and it was like 170, 180, whatever the amount was. This was one we did it with $100,000 check, and it basically funded all the after-school Boys and Girls Club activities. So when he played there 5 years, so we did it for 5 years. And what I love about this event is I was able to take some of the stuff that we did at that event and bring it into this one. For example, we'd always do a surprise performer. So with this event, Grant stepped up and he's like, look, I'm personally going to bring in a performer, not tell anybody who it is and announce them. Also, we were able to, obviously do the white theme, obviously do things like bring Tito's on board, and Tito's is going to have a polo team. Providence Jewelry Store is going to have a polo team, and they're all very active with getting involved with this event. So just this event was one of those, as I said, I did this for years. And then, on my phone, and then,
Busy man.
and now, as I said, it's evolved. And what I'm hoping is this will be, and it's going to be our annual thing. And who knows, maybe we'll take it. We'll see if the big guy wants to do polo and do another event this summer in Aspen, and we'll have you guys as the podcast come out and set it up right on the side. And
yeah, we did show this last time, but that
Yeah.
never gets old, man. I mean,
No, it's all good.
100,000 to charity, that's a lot of money.
Yeah,
I mean,
no,
that's something to be proud of. You can shoot.
Well-
I'll show it every time you come in because
the thing we do
not a
with
lot
the-
of people do that kind of stuff.
Well, and for us, as I said, and I'll emphasize it again, we don't make any money. We're not making anything on this. All the money that we make right now is going to LLS. So we have to go to like the Tito's and sponsors and people that are going to really be active with it. We rely on them for a lot of stuff. And that's why I know you've heard us say, Laura DeLuca Hirsch a bunch. You've heard us say Mark and Melissa Ganzi, his parents, a lot, because they're the ones that are really supporting what we're doing and able to raise, thousands of dollars. I mean, as you saw, he raised $149,000 directly to LLS last campaign.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
And,
thank you. No, look, obviously,
that's
like
the
what Josh is saying, we're doing this, not getting paid. We're doing it to, we're raising money for blood cancer. And cancer affected my life. I mean, my mom had cancer during COVID, so end of 2020. So, just obviously I did the whole Man of the Year stuff before that. And then obviously this time around, it gives you a little more purpose. You know what I mean? When it hits closer to home. I mean, it's hit close to home for probably everyone.
Yeah,
but-
I lost my mom to it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it
I
sucks,
yeah,
and
it's
it's
worse
something
than
that
the plan.
you want to if you can do anything to help
Yeah.
anyone, why not do it? You know what I
Right.
mean? I mean, sure it's tough, sure you don't have to do it, but you put a little time in, and you could save lives. So do it. You know what I mean? That's the way.
And whether it's a $20 donation or
No,
$5,
anything. Anything.
and it makes you feel better. It does
for sure.
I feel better when I donate to things that I know are going to the right place, like you
Yeah.
guys and the
Well, and
things that they
especially,
can do.
I mean, and once again, I'm emphasizing, and I know I'm not going to back up because we started with it, but I'm honored that we're working with LLS because it's a great
Yeah.
charity. There's a lot of charities out there, and this is one that I think hits home for everybody.
Yeah.
You
my
know, and
my
that's-
real father didn't know he had leukemia until he was 60.
wow.
He didn't know it until he was 60. At 60, it was like hovering, I guess, but he didn't have it. And at 60,
Wow.
his white blood cells went up. Then they leveled out, but he didn't even know until 60. So, I mean, I've dealt with that in my family and cancer, so.
Yeah, it's tough.
And the most important one, my mother. That's the
Yeah,
cancer.
I'm
yeah.
sorry.
Yeah, what are you going to do?
Oh, it's cancer. I know.
Yeah, just got to keep it moving. I mean,
Yeah.
you sit there on the couch for a month and don't move, and then you say, okay, time to go.
Yeah.
Time to get back to work. You know?
Gotta,
Well, look,
yeah.
next year when we go from 500 to 1,000 people, we open it up. We'll come back and we'll be able to push it more when we have tickets available.
Okay, so see you in a year.
So a year from now. But we did actually, and what was great about it, and I will say, and you, Tommy, thank you both, because Tommy, you did say, I said, okay, look, we're doing this event. You were like, how can I help? And I said, well, the event's on Friday. Maybe we'll come in Monday. Not realizing that our tickets would sell out in 8 days, thinking that we could do this, and then we'd push it out, and people would be like, "Oh, we want to support. We're going to buy tickets." And now we're like, we're sorry, we don't have tickets, we don't have tables, but Grant's link we'll put up, and once again, it all goes right to a good cause.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah,
No.
because even though it's sold out, you can still donate, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can donate to.
And if you watch this and you have any doubt, I mean, these guys aren't taking, you guys don't need it. You know what I mean?
No,
and
it's all good.
it's a great thing. But yeah, when I saw that it said sold out, I was like, wait a minute. It's sold out. Okay. So I assume that you're going to want this out tomorrow, but it's sold out, Josh. Well, good for you. Okay. We'll talk about a shootout. Sold out event. But, thanks for coming in, Josh. Thank you, Grant. I appreciate it.
No, thank you for having me.
Spencer, sorry it was
Pleasure.
so long. I know you're a kiddo. You're dying. How bad do you want to get out of here? 1 to 10. You could be honest. Just say 10.
Where do you want to go to dinner? Anything you want, buddy.
McDonald's.
Ooh.
You already know the answer. Let's bet. What do you think?
I don't know.
I'm going to go with McDonald's.
Meat market.
Meat market.
Meat market. Perfect. You want to go to meat market? You don't know. All right, we're going to have to prep you next time for the show, buddy.
Say goodbye to the camera.
Say bye.
Say goodbye. This one here. Sit with Daddy.
That one. Come here. Say bye. Oh.
Say bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
All right. That's good.
Awesome.
All right, guys. Thank you a lot for
Thank
your
you so
time. I
much, man.
appreciate it.
Thanks.
Thank you.